Alrighty, g'day guys. Welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. All four boys back on for the weekly AFL podcast. Myself, Josh, Steve, Tazza, and BT. We're all back, and it's good to all be back. Tazza, you were away last week. I've been away for a couple of weeks. How you feeling to be back, mate?
Oh, I'm so glad to be back, raring to go. It was a shame to miss out last week, but wasn't feeling 100%. Wasn't quite health and safety protocols, but yeah, just not 100%, but good to go.
Yep, and I've been away for 2 weeks. Been on sabbatical in Cairns. Steve, BT, nice work from you fellas holding down the fort. It's been crisp, I've got to say.
Cheers, boys. We didn't. We missed you, but at the same time, we didn't really.
Yeah, it was right. We coped without you, so you guys have to step up your game if you want to stay around.
Yeah, no, we certainly do. I'll cop it. We know it's true. So, look, let's just get straight into it. The way we usually do with our regular segment, hits, misses, and hold fire. There's a few teams that we could go after this week for the hit. But, Steve, I'm looking at you. Where have you turned your attention?
Yeah, you mentioned it. A couple of teams. I'll start with the honourable mention. An honourable mention goes to Geelong for beating top spot. Yeah. You'll understand why, I think, when we get to the actual hit. But I've got an honourable mention Geelong. They were close, but I mean, what's it, 8th in a row now? Beat top spot. Top spot's theirs now based on percentage. So, it was touch and go, but it's not them. It's a team that we love to talk about on the channel, especially of recently. We're going the Gold Coast Suns.
Oh yes,
yeah, a big game for them. I mean, I think BT and I spoke about it last week that they were. Their loss last week basically ruled them out of finals, but I think this kind of puts them a little bit back in contention. So, and to do it the way they did it, they were behind the whole game, picked the last 4, including one after the siren to win it.
What a ripper.
That's what I think dreams are made of, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You got to be up and about for that. BT, I think that's the first after the siren win for the year. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, that's right. And it wasn't an easy kick either. Noah Anderson, not a real known goal kicker, so not a forward midfielder. And he flushed it straight through the middle. It was wicked to watch whenever you see a goal like that.
Yeah, no, an absolute cracker. It's got to be said. And Taz, I think the most impressive thing for Gold Coast fans and for, the passive supporters like us here on the channel, last couple of weeks, they've gone down by less than a kick and they managed to turn that around for this game here, getting it done at the death. That's a really impressive sign.
Yeah, it was really do or die for Gold Coast at this point, and especially for two teams that are really in that conversation, probably for the last place in that top 8. Just such a crucial win, and yeah, I'm pumped for them. I'd love to see it.
So, one quick word on Richmond, because they were very gallant in defeat, and it's been a bit topical the last couple of weeks. Dusty Martin, the jungle drums are beating. BT, is he on the way out? Is this the last year we're going to see Dusty at Richmond?
I think so. I think he's going to Sydney, and he's clearly out of form. Obviously, one of the top 3 best players probably of all time, but he's out of form. He's not playing well at all. It just looks like he doesn't want to be there, and so I think he's gone. I think he's going to Sydney.
Yeah, Steve, the signs that have been coming out of Richmond as well, that there's not been noises that they're keen to keep him, that, Dimmer's almost resigned at the fact that he's going to go. It'd be a big shake-up, wouldn't it, mate?
Yeah, it's a big loss. I mean, they're losing who was their best player over their dynasty period, so it's a huge loss for him. We don't know the full story. There's a little bit of a fallout somewhere along there. I mean, players tend to use the word personal terms as a reason for leave, which, actually ends up being a little bit deeper than that. It goes into the club. But yeah, I don't know if we'll ever know. Never need to know, but it's a big loss for them.
It'll be interesting to see what he actually does go for. I mean, he's a player that's near the end of his career. Obviously, at his best, he still is elite and game-changing. But Tazza, is this going to be one of these deals that Hawthorn have been doing over the last 5 years, where they're shipping off their premiership stars for not a lot of draft capital?
Look, I mean, I've got a completely different take on it. I don't even know if he plays anymore. I
Wow.
wonder if he calls it quits. I mean, he's done everything he needs to do in the game. Like BT said, he's already cemented himself as one of the greatest players to ever play it, and he doesn't seem to me like he has the drive that a lot of other guys do. He's supremely talented, but does he have that will to really keep going with the pre-seasons? And the personal reasons are definitely there for him with the passing of his father. I think that's playing heavily on his mind. So I think that's something that he's going to have to consider and weigh up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to keep watch on that. So if you're a Tigers fan and you're watching along with this, let us know. Do you think he's done? And where would you rank him as one of the best players to ever play for Richmond? I think that's certainly going to be a topic of conversation as he does approach the end of his career. But yeah, obviously Gold Coast, all the attention on them, Steve. Great call, the hit, and they really are a sneaky chance for finals. I think they play the bottom 4 teams in the run home, so they're a good chance to get some wins on the board as we approach the business end of the season. BT, over to you for the miss. Who are we looking at this week?
Said the same thing last week. If you lose to Essendon, you deserve to be the miss. It's Brisbane this week.
Yeah, fair call.
And when it's that tight up the top, you can't be losing these games, especially at home. I know they had a few players out with COVID and whatnot, but you got to find a way to win them. And Essendon clearly aren't a good team. They had a good game, but if you want to be a contender this season, you can't give up games like that, especially at home.
Yeah, poor loss there for Brisbane. Tazza, top 2. Are they going to finish top 2 after this? Because that's a real dent to their chances.
Well, I mean, it's so tight at the top that you lose the games that you really should be winning, especially at home. It means they're going to have to find another one. Probably they're going to have to travel and find one that they probably wouldn't have won before. Now, I don't know their draw off by heart, but it's going to be tough for them to get there because I think Geelong obviously look the form team. Melbourne aren't that far off, and then Freo look like they're probably just that little bit better at the moment. So it's tough when you drop those kind of games.
Yeah, and they've obviously a game behind them now. And speaking of the draw, 4 games in the run home against top 8 teams. Now, they're good enough to beat those teams on their day. We know that, but it just makes that a little bit harder. And they've got no room for error. So that's going to be tough, certainly. Yeah, no, good call on that one. So Brisbane for the miss, and I think a very well-deserved miss. So good call there, BT. Tazza, over to you. Back from the week off. We're looking for a big hold fire from you this week. Where are we looking?
Yeah, fresh off looking at the honourable mention for Steve's hit. We're going to go the other side. We're going to go Melbourne for the hold fire. It was a very close game for about 3.5 quarters of that game. And Melbourne just seemed to fall apart at the end. Put it down to Geelong's record at GMHBA and their strength there. I'm not sure, but there's one glaring stat for me that really it just stands out. 1 mark between Luke Jackson and Max Gawn.
Yeah,
it's going to be really interesting to see Melbourne against my boys Port this week, but that is something that they're going to have to rectify. And considering Port don't really have a recognised ruckman at the moment, I think it's something they do rectify. I think it's something they can probably take a hold of, and they will bounce back for me.
Probably a fair cool high in the ruckman. So Steve, I mean, both these guys just coming back from injury in Jackson and Gawn, and really getting monstered by, Reece Stanley. So that hurt the D's. Obviously, without Clayton Oliver this week, do you think this is a problem for the D's, that they're going to have to try and get it done in the middle, and they're lacking that consistency with the big 3 guys?
For me, I think the lack of consistency at the moment is coming from their forward line. Like their key guys just aren't kicking the goals.
Yeah.
Like Benny Brown, 1 goal. Fritsch, 1 goal. Pickett 1 goal. You know, they relied on Petrarca to kick 3. Otherwise, they would have been even further out the game. So from a team that last season was, you know, multiple times over 100 points, kicking goals left, right, and centre. And I think Bailey Fritsch kicked like 5 or 6 in the grand final. So these guys need to pick the slack up a little bit and start kicking some goals. You know, do what they're paid to do. Otherwise, that's what, for me, that's where they're struggling. You know, they're good enough in the middle, but if they can't put it away between the sticks, then they're not going to win anything.
Yeah, no, it's a good call, and they certainly don't look bulletproof anymore. I mean, I know you were massive on them, Steve, in the preseason, having the going undefeated, and they looked $1 million. But there's starting to be holes appearing. You know, Stephen May goes out, the back line looks poor, forward line looks poor now. Rucks aren't performing, so I don't think this team is as bulletproof as they were looking in the first half of the season. So, yeah, definitely a good hold fire. I think we need to see if Melbourne is definitely the best team in the comp, because they certainly didn't look it on the weekend. There you go. So that is our hits, misses, and hold fire. Nice work, boys, getting back into it after a bit of an interrupt a couple of weeks from us. So good to have us all back on board.